Hello my friends, this is Jeannie. Welcome back and welcome to video number 6, I believe, of my How to Alter a Book series. There will definitely be more videos after this one. I will be making videos as I continue to add more elements and continue to work on my book. As I mentioned in video number 1, this is pretty much my first go at attempting to alter books, and definitely my first attempt at trying to film the series so that I can share with you some tips, and also so that maybe you can learn from some of the mistakes that I have made. So I'm not exactly sure how many parts to this series there will be, but once I get there, I will know and I'll let you know by announcing this is the last video. But there will definitely be at least one more video after this one. I don't have a regular posting schedule for this series. I basically make the videos as I find time to work on my book. So for those who are following along with me, I am trying to make it a point to share like some of the very basics in terms of creating pockets, belly bands, and whatnots, so that you can progress on your book maybe a lot faster than I'm progressing on mine, and that every video from this point forward is going to be sharing some of the more, not complicated, but the more involved items that I have added to my alter book. In my last video, it was super basic, I just shared with you how to create belly bands, both horizontal and vertical style. I taught you or shared how I make my pockets, and I also share with you how I make some basic flip elements to my book. In this envelope, wow. In this video, what I'm going to focus on is just making this kind of pull out element that I created for my book. And I created this element using 4 A2 size envelope, craft color. You can obviously use whatever size envelope you have on hand. The only requirement really is that whatever envelopes you use, that they all be the same size. I'm using 4 envelopes. You can use more than 4 envelopes. Make this as long as you want, but 4 is my limit because my book is kind of getting chunky. So I have to watch the girth of my book, because I still have probably about 10 more layouts I have to do, and the book is already getting chunky. So I just used 4 elements to create this little pull-out. Super simple to make, okay, just a little time consuming, but I thought I would share the process with you using envelopes. Can you create this using just cardstock and some strategically placed scored lines? Absolutely. But the reason I use envelopes is because envelopes have these natural little pockets that are very useful when you're creating a book where storage is a premium. These little pockets are awesome for storing items inside. Okay, so I don't want to have to cut cardstock in a billion different pieces, adhere it together to create those pockets. It's not necessary. Those pockets are already built into an envelope, and it's just a matter of sticking some envelopes together to create this kind of accordion style element. So that is what we're going to focus on today. So to create that, all you need are, if you want to make one exactly like the one in my book, you need 4 A2 sized envelopes. If you're going to make a size unique for your book, then just get 4 envelopes exactly the same size. You will also need some wet glue, some designer cardstock, right? So that you can line your envelopes and make them really pretty once your book is put together, and what other little embellishments you want to use. Decorations, decorating embellishments, that's always personal aesthetic. So my focus today is really going to be on putting the little accordion style fold out or pull out together, and not so much decorating, okay? Because you decorate it in whatever way, shape, or form floats your boat. So as I said, we're going to start with 4 envelopes, and the key to sticking these envelopes together to create that pull out is going to be the flap. The flap of each envelope is what you are going to use to adhere the next envelope onto it and create that kind of accordion movement. Okay, so make sure all of your envelopes have flats. Flaps, I should say. It kind of goes without saying, but just saying, make sure your envelope has flaps because you're going to need them. So you will start with envelope number 1. You're going to lay it flat on your work surface with the flap facing you. Okay, then you will take envelope number 2 that you will also have flat on your work surface with the flap facing you, but you want the flap to be in the opposite direction as envelope number 1. You see how the flaps are now opposite to each other? Okay, but both flaps are facing up towards you. So what you're going to do is put some glue onto the flap of the first envelope. You're going to take the flat bottom edge of your second envelope, bring it up against the flap, fold the flap over, press, and then they'll be stuck together. So let's go ahead and do that. I am using some liquid glue, some Tombow Mono Aqua liquid glue. I love this stuff. It does dry, but it doesn't dry quickly. You have probably about 3, maybe 4 seconds before you get a permanent stick and can't move it anymore. But those 3 or 4 seconds are super key, especially if you have to move the envelopes around to line them up. So I put the glue on the flap of the first envelope. Here's the bottom edge of my second envelope, making sure that flap on the second envelope is facing me. I'm going to press that edge against that flap with the glue, fold it over, press, press, press. Give it a little tap this way just to make sure it's all lined up so that I have a nice smooth fold and not a wonky fold. And there, it's attached. Okay, now I'm going to add the next envelope using that same method. I'm going to take the next envelope, envelope number 3, lay it flat, making sure the flap is facing me, and make sure the flaps are on opposite sides. Okay, I'm going to put glue on the flap of envelope number 2. Okay, take the bottom edge of envelope number 3, making sure that flap of envelope number 3 is facing me. I'm going to take the bottom edge of envelope number 3, press it against the flap with the glue, bring the flap with the glue over, and give this a little tap, 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 making sure it's all lined up. Beautiful. Okay, and now we have 3 envelopes stuck together. See that? 1, 2, 3. This is going to be the last envelope. We're going to use that same method. We're going to put glue on the flap of envelope number 3. Bum, 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 bum. Keep myself entertained by adding some sound effects. Going to take envelope number 4, make sure the flap is facing you and in the opposite direction of the flap with the glue. See that? Opposites, opposites. Take the bottom edge of envelope number 4, press it against the flap with the glue, give it a good press, give it a good tap, and that is all stuck together. And here is that pull out. Isn't that super easy, super quick? Now this extra flap you don't need because you will not be adhering another envelope to your pull out. If you were going to adhere another envelope, then you would keep that flap. Whatever your last envelope is, you just cut off that little flap because you don't really need it. You don't need it. I suppose instead of cutting it off, you could just fold it over and seal it. But I just cut it off because I like cutting things. So I cut that off. Okay. And here is my pretty accordion style pull-out. Okay. In terms of sticking this onto your book, what you're going to do is, first of all, decide what orientation you want it to be on your page. Do you want it to be portrait style? If you want it portrait style, then you are going to adhere the glue so that your book or your little mini book here is obviously laying portrait style on your page. If you want it landscape style, then obviously adhere it so that it's landscape style on your page. And the way you adhere it is just put some glue on the back end, stick it down, give it a good press, and it'll be stuck. Now, if you notice, there's a pretty side and a not so pretty side to this pull out. You have one side that's super smooth, right? Where the front page, or what would be the front page of your book, is super smooth. If you use that side, obviously then that pretty side of the page is going to face, of the envelope is going to face you. If you happen to adhere it the other way, where the not so pretty side is facing you, it doesn't really make a difference, right? Because you're going to put a panel on top of it. See, when you put a panel on top of it, doesn't really make a difference, right? It's the same thing. If you don't intend on putting a panel on top of it, then obviously you want the pretty side facing you. Okay. Now, in terms of creating the panels, again, that is personal preference. You can cut your designer cardstock so that it's slightly smaller than the envelope itself, creating a border, which is what I did in this book. You see, I created a border, okay, where you can see some of the craft envelope in the background. I did that because I thought it was really pretty, and I wanted to see some of that craft color. Whatever way you decide to go, you cut basically the same size panel for each side of the envelope. So in my case, I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I cut 7 panels, okay, 4 for one side and 3 for the other. I then went in with some glue and laid a panel on every side of the envelope, okay, to make it look prettier. What I also did, just the big FYI, you know the sides of the envelope? Let's just walk through it. So the envelopes that have the pockets, you see right here, you don't want to accidentally seal those pockets. So for those, what you want to do, and I'll show you one here, what you want to do is when you put the glue on, you want to put the glue around the edges of the pocket, but not in the area of the pocket. So if I wanted to put this panel on the inside of this book, but I wanted to keep that pocket still a working pocket, this is what I would do. First thing, before I stick that panel onto the envelope, I'm going to create a little notch. Okay, what do I mean by notch? You see how my envelopes with the pockets, I created a little notch right there, and that's just to make it easier to pull out whatever is in there. If you don't have that notch, I find you have to shove your finger in there pretty good, and you risk ripping the envelope trying to reach in and pull out what's in there. If you create this little notch, it's just easier maybe to use your thumb to kind of slide it out. Okay, so creating those knots or notches, super easy. You can either go in with a pair of scissors and do like just a quick little semicircle cut. Or if you have a circle punch like what I have, what I do is I just go in with a circle punch about halfway into the circle punch, but center of the panel itself. Just give that a quick little punch, and there's my notch. Okay, let me distress that a little bit so that it matches the rest of the distress in my book. Then to adhere this panel onto the side with, you know, the little envelope opening, you are not going to put glue all around the top end here, because what you will end up doing is accidentally sealing this shut. What you will do instead is put the glue around the edge of that opening, okay? And you will put some glue in the center of the opening. Then you're going to take your cardstock itself and put glue on the 3 edges that are not notched. You don't want to put any glue going across here, because if you do, you're going to end up sealing it shut. Okay, line it up. Okay, dokie. Okay, and that's how you get. I love this glue that I can move it around some and it doesn't kill. Doesn't kill my page. It gives me a little bit of time to move it around. Okay, so now here I have that pocket. I'm gonna let that dry. Okay, now to add the little ribbon element, what you need to do is, before you stick your panel onto the front, let's use red, what you are going to do is first cut yourself a little piece of ribbon. Let's see what I got. I have this pretty gold one. I'm going to use this pretty gold ribbon, string, whatever you have. Cut yourself a piece, a couple of inches, maybe 3 inches. Ooh, this one's all wound up. Look at that. Oh, I didn't know that would do that. So maybe, let me think. You know what? That's okay. You're going to cut yourself a piece of ribbon or string or whatever. You're going to fold it in half. You're going to, on the panel that you're on the side of the envelope, you're going to glue your panel on. First, lay some glue down and stick your ribbon. Okay, so you want your ribbon cut long enough, and use glue that is specifically made for adhering ribbon and fabric. Not all glues can do that. And also, when sticking it on, you want to leave the loop kind of overhanging a little bit so that you can grab it and pull it. Okay, so I used fabric tack. This glue is awesome for adhering ribbon onto, or any kind of fabric onto almost any surface. So I stuck that on. Then I'm going to put my panel on top of it like that. Okay, just like that. And you'll have something to pull on, but you have kind of the working parts of it tucked away under this panel so that you don't have to see it. Makes it a lot prettier. Okay, we're going to stick this on top of that. Okay, give that a good firm press. Press, 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 press. So we're going to let that dry. So using those same techniques, you want to put some cardstock, decorative cardstock, on every, you know, exposed size of your envelope. Look how pretty. So I'm not going to pull on that now because it's still a little bit wet, but you would use this to kind of trigger like that. See? Okay. And the key is just, especially if you want to preserve those pockets, when putting your panel onto the side of the envelope that has the pocket, you really want to be careful not to get glue across that pocket because you will seal it shut. You will only be sealing 3 sides, okay? Whereas on all the other panels, you will be sealing all 4 sides. So once all your different pages are decorated to your liking, you take and spread some glue on the bottom of the last one and adhere it onto your book, and you have yourself this super cute little pull-out, just like that. You see, or notched, and pockets are open and working. Okay, real pretty. Real pretty and super, super easy. And if you have envelopes and you have glue and a little bit of ribbon, then you too can make this. You don't even need the ribbon. Okay, I like the ribbon. It's super pretty. That gold is really pretty. Okay, so then what I will do now is go in and add another layer on top of this. Super happy. Very cute the way it turned out. So that is how you make that little interactive element, my friends, using some envelopes. Again, whatever size you choose to make, just make sure that all of the envelopes you use are all the same size, and you shouldn't have any problems. If you have any questions, comments, or if you tried this method and it didn't work for you, and you need a little bit of troubleshooting, leave a comment down below, and I will try to help you out that way. As I said, there will be another part to this series. I think in the next one, I'll show you how to make some of the other more, again, involved elements in my book. I've decided to just break it down to 1 element per book. I should say per video, just for the sake of having shorter videos. And everyone can pick and choose what they want to watch depending on whether or not they want that particular element in their book. I have put out enough basics though so far where for those who have been crafting along with me, you definitely have enough in your arsenal to finish up your book. I would love, love, love to see photos or videos of your finished books. So if you have been following along with me and your book is complete, then definitely drop a link down below. I would love to see it, or send me an email with your link. You can send the email to happilyellaafter@gmail.com. I always love to see what other people create. So I will catch you in the next video, my friends, where I think in the next video, what I will do is show you how I made this little flip out element, okay? And then if I have time in that video, I will show you how I did this kind of little peekaboo window. Otherwise, it'll be a separate video all on its own. So as you can see, as always, super slow crafter, but I love the progress that I'm making on the book. I think it's turning out great, and hopefully within the next week or so I can do a final flip through and share with you all that I have managed to get done, and I can show you the final result for my first altered book. Thank you so, so much for visiting and watching, my friends. I truly do appreciate it. If you like what you see, I would definitely appreciate a thumbs up. If you are new and you like what you see, subscribe. Come back and visit me, my friends. I would really love that. Until next time, bye-bye.